Today, the crypto rally loses steam. Hackers steal $600 million in what could be the largest DeFi hack ever. And payment processor Visa is diving into the world of NFTs. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Pippa Stevens. Digital currencies moved lower during morning trading. The market as a whole was down by 1/3% by noon Eastern. Bitcoin fell by 0.7% since yesterday. Ether prices fell by about the same. Meanwhile, Ripple's XRP rose, but just slightly. More trouble in crypto. A massive security breach affecting popular NFT game Axie Infinity and the Ronin network. Hackers stole more than $600 million, making it one of the largest hacks in the history of decentralized finance. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sigalos spoke to Austin Bunson of QuickNode to find out how this breach happened and what it means for DeFi.
Can you explain to the layman what exactly happened here?
Yeah, so there's this thing called a bridge, and a bridge is essentially a way to take your cryptocurrency from one network or chain to another. And in this case, you need smart contracts on both chains. And in the Ronin chain, the smart contract required multiple signatures or multiple keys to transmit a transaction to the Ethereum chain. Someone got a hold of 5 of the 9 multi-sig keys that control the funds on the Ronin chain and actually managed to sign transactions that then sent the assets from Ronin to Ethereum, where they have been transferred out into exchanges to be withdrawn and things like that.
So you mentioned that this hack is like any other in the world of DeFi, but this breach, it comes just a few months after another major hack of the Poly network. And I'm wondering, just how worried should investors be who are trying to enter the world of DeFi?
Vitalik Buterin, the co-creator of Ethereum, actually wrote a pretty extensive post on why he thinks the world is multi-chain but not cross-chain. And in it, he discusses what sort of risks are involved with bridges. And so, if you're entering the world of DeFi and you're going to be bridging your assets from one chain to another, this is something that you should be worried about. If you are entering the world of DeFi and you're going to stick with the Ethereum chain, which is relatively secure, or an L2 like Optimism or Arbitrum, I think you're in great shape.
So you mentioned that piece that Vitalik Buterin wrote about how bridges won't be around for much longer because of security limits. Do you think that this highlights that issue and hastens their retirement?
It definitely does highlight the issue pretty well. In this case, it was a matter of security that really allowed for this to happen. And it wasn't necessarily the issues that Vitalik brought forth in his post, but it is yet another example of why bridges are not necessarily the most secure.
All right, let's jump to our main story. Payments giant Visa just announced a new NFT platform that hopes to get more small businesses into the digital economy. Crypto World's Kate Rooney caught up with Visa's head of crypto, Cuy Sheffield, and digital artist Micah Johnson to discuss the new program.
Cuy, I want to start with you, and if you could just explain how this program came to bear, what this means for Visa, and how this idea came about. Explain to our audience what this actually means.
Sure. So for the past decade, Visa's really focused on how we can digitally enable small businesses and help them participate in e-commerce. But the concept of a small business has evolved. A lot of people still think about brick and mortar mom and pop shops. We're just seeing this new generation of gig workers, solo entrepreneurs, and creators. And so when we think about how can Visa support commerce in any form that it takes, we want to be an advocate, an enabler for this global creator economy. And so we looked at the NFT ecosystem and we felt this represents a new form of e-commerce. And so we started to closely follow the space last year, became fascinated by it. And we felt for us to learn and participate, we have to get involved in the ecosystem. We bought a CryptoPunk. We started building relationships with individual creators. And when we met Micah, we were just super inspired about his story and really how it's a case study of what NFTs can enable. And so we started working closely with him. And now we're really excited to expand and open up this creator program so we can work with creators across the world to help them with NFTs.
Got it. And we'll get into some of the details and what this means for Visa in the long run. But Micah, you really do have such an interesting backstory. Retired from Major League Baseball in 2018 and then became a visual artist. How did you find out about NFTs and how did you get into crypto?
Yeah, I got into it in late 2019 and really found out about digital art and at that time crypto art it was called because I needed a way to monetize my art. I couldn't get into a gallery at that point, and gallery was really the only way that you could really sell visual art. And so started looking into digital art, crypto art. Late 2019, realized there was only like 3 or 4 articles on the internet at that time about NFTs, and it was incredible to see the where we are today. But then I released my first NFT in like early 2020, and I've been a collector that I just DM'd, Twitter DM, just to learn about the space, and that's what I used to do early on, was just ask a bunch of questions to the very few collectors that existed. And he bought my first NFT for 3 ETH. At that time, it was I think $900. So ETH was at $300 each. And I was like, this is revolutionary because now I built a relationship with the collector. I have a direct connection with my collector. And he was like tweeting and talking about my art to other collectors. I said, this is something I've never seen before. A way, somebody that is invested in my creativity that is now evangelizing, the thing that I'm creating. And so I was hooked at that point and just continued to build and create within the space.
Actually, question for both of you. How involved will you be on the day-to-day basis, and what do NFT artists need, from Visa and from your mentorship? What would they expect to learn in a year-long program like this?
Micah really inspired this program and played a critical role in helping us design it. And we think there are really 3 key elements to this. And first is we want to create a community of Visa creators and have people with experience like Micah connecting with people who are brand new to the space, trying to understand how to apply NFTs and leverage it, and then be able to work together to figure this out. And then second is really mentorship, direct access to Visa and the crypto product team. There are a ton of questions around which blockchain should I use? What about transaction fees and scalability, and which marketplace? How do you compare where to do a drop? And then we think we can learn just as much, if not more, from the creators as they can from us. And so this mentorship, that's going 2 ways. And then last is connections to our network. And we have large brands and merchants coming to us every day saying, how do we get into NFTs? What should we do? And so we want to have this cohort of creators that we can use as case studies and also, help to connect them to our broader client base.
Got it. And Micah, same question to you. How involved will you be in this process? Do you expect any coaching and mentorship on your side? What will your role be here?
Yeah, I think that some guidance on different ways that technology could be used, I think is important. I think looking beyond just like the medium. I think like you think about mediums, there's canvas, there's paper, there's product, but like looking beyond that and really what the technology can do to empower creators and create like an audience that is orchestrated around basically a token. And that's really what the technology allows. And so really just providing some insight on how different ways they could leverage the technology, I think is what I'm really excited about being integrated into this program and kind of bringing my kind of like knowledge of that.
Got it. And Cuy, as far as how this fits into the broader Visa picture, is that where you really see e-commerce going? Walk us through sort of the long-term vision here and how it might, be a boost at some point for Visa.
Absolutely. We think NFT commerce can really become a new generation of e-commerce. If you think about what is e-commerce today, a lot of it is purchasing physical goods online that are shipped to you. They have to be created in factories and go through supply chains, and you have to manage logistics. Or it's just purchasing a digital subscription that's one size fits all. You don't really own, you can't resell, you can't really combine with other things. This is kind of a combination of the two. The NFTs have some of the same properties as physical goods. You could take possession, you can trade and sell them, you could build things on top of them, but they could also get you access to digital experiences, as a membership. And so it's this kind of new hybrid form factor that we think can just be applied to many new use cases. And our goal is to discover what those use cases are. And then how do we enable them and make it more accessible for consumers, where you shouldn't have to be an expert in understanding cryptocurrencies and blockchains to just be able to support one of your favorite artists or creators. And so there's a lot of work to be done as an industry to make it as easy to purchase an NFT as it is to buy anything else online today.
Before we go, Crypto World's Mackenzie Sigalos also spoke with the CEO of Celsius about the company's new Chief Technology Officer. Take a listen.
Guillermo Bodnar worked with me creating Voice over IP back in the early 90s. And since then, he worked for Globant, which is a giant company with over 20,000 employees. And we're growing super fast. Over 800 people now at Celsius. Needed really help with technical growth, with scaling the company. And he was basically the right guy for the job. Would love working with him again. And so excited that he's part of the Celsius family.
You can check out the full interview on cnbc.com/cryptoworld. And that does it for the show today, but we'll be back here again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.